All right, Leafs talk. JD Bunkis, Sam McKee. The Toronto Maple Leafs win again. Winning streak, buddy. New lines, goaltender, pretty solid tonight. Got to say, pretty awesome performance from Joe Wall. Where do you want to start?
Is two a streak?
Two's a streak.
Two's a streak? I thought three was a streak, but I'll semantics with you. I'll have that. Two's a streak. Yeah, nice,
Yeah,
really nice performance from Joe Wall. I don't know how you
yeah,
don't start anywhere other than that.
yeah.
I think, I thought this is a huge start for him to come off the really good performance on Saturday night, come into this game where the conversations were being had on every show and every station in Toronto, every podcast, the conversations being had. His team kind of hangs him out to dry in the first period, and he really keeps them in it, especially on those power plays where Ovi's diving over him.
Mm.
It's a pressure performance from him when there's a lot of conversation. Like, this was an easy spot for a young guy to go in, no? And just kind of lay an egg with all the pressure, and he goes in and looks as good as he's ever looked. So really
So
big statement night for Joe Wall, in my opinion.
I made fun of the quotes before the game because I went, can we just Toronto is just the most hilarious market sometimes. Like Max Domi has to compare him to Carey Price as
I
he's
know.
making his like
I know.
13th start
I
in the
know.
NHL. And I went, my God, man, why are we doing this? This is just so, and you can blame the media all you want. Sometimes the players do it to themselves. And I actually got into it. I had Kipper on my podcast today. He's like, "Oh, it's the media's fault." I was like, "You are the media,
What are
buddy.
you
Get over
talking
you."
about?
I know. He's out of his mind. He just wanted to be a contrarian. But I gotta say, dude, there was some pressure here, and it just didn't feel like Joe Wall felt that at any point in the game. I love how quiet he is in the net. I love the rebound control. I love the size. Like, yeah, it's Washington. It's not exactly the scariest team. They got what they finished with 37 shots. He made
Yeah.
36 saves. Yeah, 36 saves, not a ton of spectacular ones, but made good ones. Didn't give Washington a lot of chances for like really great secondary opportunities. So very, very nice stuff from Joe Wall, who, in my opinion, absolutely gets the net next game now too.
Yeah, I think that's maybe we can have a conversation on that now here. To me, I guess you do have to go with them. I
You
think
do.
I think having a couple wins here and having to be a couple games above 500 gives yourself a little bit of leeway. It's really early in the season,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think you want to lose Samsonov here. And I still think you have to let him find his game. You're going to need both these guys big time. So I think going back to Joe Wall on Thursday would be a huge statement for the team. They may do it, but I tend to think that they maybe go back to Samsonov. I'm not sure which way I'd go. I think that's why Keefe makes the big bucks to make these kind of decisions. I wouldn't really fault him either way. But if I was a betting man, I bet you they go back to Samsonov on Thursday just because he was like, you can't lose him. You need him. And he's got to play in some of these games, and you've got a little bit of leeway. It's a long trip. You're traveling. It's been a ton for Wall. I tend to think that you got to go back to Samsonov at some point here, and going against Dallas on Thursday may be the spot for me.
Here's the thing. I'm not sure the Leafs win this game if Samsonov's in net.
No, it's a fair point. It's an
And
absolutely fair point.
uh, and the thing is, I was reflecting on this actually today on my show earlier,
Mm-hmm.
because it's pretty clear that Sheldon Keefe so far does not seem to have a lot of patience, whether it comes to relations, right? It's been quick hook, blenders. He's shuffled every single line this year. He's taken players out of the lineup. He's changed two of the D pairings, right? The only thing that's been constant has been Brody and Riley. And it's almost at the point now where you think that we'll talk about this later, but a change is going to be coming to the penalty kill. And I thought, okay, so the goalies he's been shuffling around too. Maybe he's being a little bit too quick with some of these decisions. Maybe it's a little too rash to be saying we're going for wins at the very beginning of the season. And maybe that burns you out a little bit, having that pressure. But what has everybody criticized the Leafs for the last couple of years? Country club, too easy to play here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Blue and white disease. And Sheldon Keefe's kind of making this Leafs team, all the players have to compete for their spots, compete for ice time, compete for the net. So I really don't mind it. I think if Samsonov is so mentally fragile that if he loses two starts in a row, that it's going to derail his season, then he was going to be a lost cause anyway, right? Like you were going to lose him at some point this year. So to me, it's like ride the hot hand. Joe Wall looks phenomenal. He's got a 950 save on the season. He came in admirably the other night. He
Mm-hmm.
completely shut down Washington and was just, again, quiet, calm, collected in the net. I'm rolling with the kid. I'm not. I don't think that's a statement because I think you're just telling Samsonov, dude, you get that hot, we'll give you the net and let you run with it too.
Yeah, I think those are all fair points. And you're pulling me over to the side of starting Wall, but if I'm betting on what they do, I would be
Mhm.
pretty surprised if it's not Samsonov. So,
I say, dude,
uh,
it's professional sports, Samsonov. You
I
make four
know.
million bucks now. Just like suck it up, be a man. Don't. I don't want to hear about how this is going to mentally break you or that this is too big of a statement. This is professional sports, right? Like this is
Of
your job.
course.
The other
Of
guy's been
course.
better. Sit down on the
I
bench and watch.
I know, he's been better, and I understand
Yeah,
that, but it's early here, man.
yeah.
It's early to be. I guess I can say out of the both sides of my mouth here, it's early, but at the same time, we look around the Atlantic Division, and all these points may be more meaningful. Maybe so that's why you look at Keefe doing the crazier stuff with the lines, what he's doing with the
Mhm.
goaltending, what he's doing with bringing guys in and out of the lineup. Maybe he's feeling a little bit more pressure, looking around the division at some better teams this year. So maybe that's
Mhm.
more to the point that they put Wall, that he's given them the best chance to win. I'm just hesitant to completely throw away Samsonov, who went into this as their starting goalie. But
Yeah,
everything you said there is bang on. Everything you said there is bang on.
but I don't want to
And
throw him away.
if they go with Wall, I'm happy. I think
Yeah.
Walls looked excellent. I thought he looked excellent tonight. He was excellent Saturday. He deserves to start Thursday. I just wouldn't be surprised if they go with Samsonov.
Yeah, I just think if you're Samsonov and you're Keefe, right? If you're Keefe and you're trying to handle this, or
Mhm.
you're the front office, whatever, whoever has to have this conversation with him.
Oh, they're having convos. They're probably having a think tank meeting. There's probably 75 people in that meeting figuring out justifying their paychecks at
Two
MLSE.
goalie
Who's going to
coaches, the
start? Oh
two,
yeah,
yeah.
the chefs in there.
If I'm them though, the case
Yeah,
that I'm just making is, dude, when you signed here, it was to battle for the net.
yeah.
Like you had a good season, you
And with
earned the net,
Murray,
but that's it. You were supposed to be fighting for games.
mm-hmm.
You weren't supposed to play 50 games last year. That was never going to be like the scenario when you signed here. You proved it. You played great. We still believe in you. We want to give the kid a runway. If you were playing this hot, we'd be running you out there. We have given you a shot and you'll get more shots throughout the season. This we're not making any huge decisions. Like you just said, the case of it's early, to me that's actually more the case to play Wool. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's like you're telling Samsonov, hey, dude, it's early in the season. Just chill out. We're not making this decision after the All-Star break, right? When we're starting to heat up and the games are starting to get more important and you really are looking at the standings. It's October
Yeah.
24th. Just watch a couple of games, support the kid, be a good backup, which is what you were brought here to be. And then, yeah, when your time to get back in there presents itself, go dominate. Don't let in 3 pucks on 4 shots and put yourself in this position again.
I I have to say, like, I am incredibly impressed with Wall. Like, I don't know how. I know
Same.
that's not like a hot take, or a statement that's really groundbreaking. I know it would be pretty stupid to say otherwise, but man, he's looked really good in these two
Yeah.
games, and you have to be pretty excited as a Leaf fan to look at that guy as like a homegrown guy that could potentially be a good NHL goalie for this team. So, yeah, awesome start for him. We don't need to keep going on circles on it,
No, no, we don't need to
but
go circles. I
but
was
no, but
actually going
like,
to say that,
yeah,
yeah, you know me as a goalie guy.
yeah.
I was, and you saw it in my text. I was enraged when the penalty kill had that
Oh, hung
extremely
him,
sloppy moment
hung him.
and just blew his shutout. And not only blew his shutout, but gave one to Ovechkin, who was just hunting for one all night long,
Shameless.
shamelessly. But for the penalty kill to do this, just when the guy's pitching a shutout, and it's just, I'm
Oh my
telling you,
god.
same old thing with the Leafs, where it's just like closing periods, they get a little sloppy, and this is where
Yeah.
you wonder if Matthews and Marner are playing too many minutes and if this is just kind of like brain fog for these guys. But everybody follows the puck to the side of the net. Like, have you ever watched little kid soccer where they all chase the
Yeah.
ball? Like, that's what they did there. I couldn't believe it. It's just like, yeah, I hated that. Your goalie's got to shut out. You got to pay attention to the details. You got to close the period strong. You're on the penalty kill. And, I want to talk about more positives from this game, but
Yeah.
man, the Leafs have conceded 5 goals on the power play so far this year. And they came into this game ranked 17th.
Mhm.
If we're talking about things that need to be shuffled up, I think it actually is getting to the point now where no more Marner and Matthews on the penalty kill together. Go back to Marner with Kampf, and if you're going to put Matthews on the penalty kill, put him with somebody else and see if it starts to work better. Because the thing is like their penalty kill is not good so far this year, and I think it was definitely goaltender interference on the first one. Like
Oh yeah.
Ovi dives into the net. I
Yeah, it
went,
was
if this isn't
insane.
goaltender interference, what is? I couldn't even understand what was taking so long on the bench when they were deciding whether to challenge it. I'm like, look at Ovechkin here. If you're watching it on YouTube or SN Plus, like he runs into the net, like he skates, and look at him, boom, right
What is
through
he
the goaltender.
doing?
And they're sitting there on the bench going, should we challenge this? I went, this is one of the most outrageous goaltender interferences I've seen in a long time. But it could have been two. It could have been two
Yeah.
power play goals against tonight. I think it's time for a change with this group.
So I don't have it in front of me. I don't know if Jobo can look it up for me quickly. What did they finish last year on penalty killing? Was it good or bad? Like I feel like they were middle of the pack
They were
last
middle of
year
the
too.
pack. Yeah.
To me, I disagree with you on Matthews and Marner. I I think maybe it's a stylistic thing. I like having two guys out there that are really big threats to go the other way. I think that's kind of the new age of hockey. A lot of teams do it, but I just
Mm-hmm.
think that it's so early with them doing this. I think the chemistry's off with them with this on the penalty kill. Like I think it's going to take time for them to get together. So, yeah, they finished 12th. Thanks, Jobo. They finished
Mm-hmm.
12th last year, which whatever, like
Middle of the pack.
middle of the pack. I like those two together, and I think if they figure it out, it's going to be elite because both of them are really good defensive forwards who have a lot of skills that can translate to the penalty kill. But I will concede early in the season it's been ugly, and I think it's just how long Keefe wants to stick with it. Like goes back to the patience conversation and him like pulling the trigger quickly on things. I would understand if he got rid of it and went back to Camp and Marner, who are a good pair. But I really do like the idea, and I would like to see them grow a little bit more with Matthews and Marner on the PK. I would.
I want to see it be Marner back with Camp because I
Yeah.
know that works and it's really solid. And I actually want to see Matthews with Gregor and a little less Yarncroc in that spot. That's what I'd like to see anyways from the forward combinations. Part
Yeah.
of it too is that they really don't have good penalty killers on the blue line. Like
No.
this is another
They
game
miss
where
Hall so bad. So bad.
I don't want to talk about it. It's
Well, they
just
do. They on the
I know
penalty
I
kill,
know
they
they
miss
do.
them. They
It's
miss
just like
them
it's just
so
the
bad.
chat. It's just this is the part. If there's one thing that you and I have a fundamental disagreement with, like pretty much every single person who watches this show and who listens to this podcast, it's that our audience, for whatever reason, believes Hall was a bum here,
Oh no.
and he wasn't. And
Hall's
he's
dolls
leading
for
the
life.
league. He's leading the league in plus minus already for the Red Wings. It's
Yeah.
early on in the year, but yeah, it's just like
I mean,
it. I'll tell you right now, functionally, it's Justin Hall over McCabe in without even a shadow of a doubt. And people here were talking about Connor Timmins over Justin Hall. So anyway, I just didn't want to get into this thing. By the way, if you are listening to this podcast, even though I did just disagree with all of you,
yeah.
and you're watching it on YouTube right now, if you watch it on YouTube, hit the thumbs up. All right, it takes
Yeah.
1 second. You're watching it. There's tens of thousands of you that watch this thing on YouTube. Not enough thumbs ups. And if you're listening to this or if you want to listen to this and you're not able to catch it every single night, you just leave a review, leave a quick 5 stars on the podcast on Spotify or iTunes. Anyways,
Can I
uh,
can I just quickly a Hall thing? I know you don't want to get too deep into it.
I don't.
I mean, like the +9 thing. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like,
No, it doesn't.
he's banging it off the glass to the best line in hockey. Like DeBrincat, Larkin, and Lucas Raymond are absolutely lighting it up right now. They're getting 3 goals a game. He's banging it off the glass like he always does. But
Hey, ask me how many Red Wings games I've watched.
I'm a hockeyman now. I actually have watched 3 Red Wings games.
Okay, it's very nice.
I like watching them. They're actually I think they're for real of all this hot start teams that you wouldn't expect. They're one of the ones that's for real for me. But yeah, I really do think what Justin Hall brought to this team was always criminally underrated. It was underrated forever. A guy that just blocked shots on the penalty kill, banged it off the glass, got it out, took massive hits all the time to make plays. And everybody in Leafs Nation focused on the one mistake that he would make a game, and it would just they'd kick him out of town. Like the Larry Murphy, he's not Larry Murphy, but like the Larry Murphy parallel here with him going to Detroit and winning the cup, like after he got ran out of town. He's clearly not Larry Murphy. That's what I'm saying. But like this happens here. This happens where a guy they get fixated on him, and then he goes to somewhere with a different start and they play great. And Hall was never as bad as people said he was. So we're going down the rabbit hole here, if you will. But I don't think we need to stick with it. But yeah, underrated, underappreciated his entire time here.
Man, of course. That's why I was so thrilled that Domi had himself a game the other night, because you could feel that momentum start to build.
Yeah.
The momentum of all the weight of this market behind, hey, what is this guy doing and where is he supposed to play and where does he fit and how is this going to work? And it just that it must be overwhelming, especially when you're from here and there's no escape. Like, Ty Domi isn't or sorry, Max Domi isn't William Nylander,
Old guy
right? Where
move
he was
right
just
there.
where
Calling him
he
his
was just
dad's
yeah, that
name.
was a big move.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
know. Yeah, it's the old guy move big time. Well, to be honest, I was trying to get Ty Domi on the pod this week, and he's not doing any media. So unfortunately, that's not going to be it. Maybe
I
your show.
No, I respect that
Maybe he'll
big
do one
time
for
from
Kipper.
Ty. I respect
Yeah,
that big
same,
time from Ty. Like he just,
bro.
although he did walk out with Drake, so maybe he's not trying to
No,
exactly lay that low. But the fact that he's
no,
not going on and talking about Max, I think
that's
is
it.
really smart. And Max probably told him not to. Like last year, we were trying to have Kachuk on the pod during the playoffs, and remember when Kachuk went on the radio and called his team soft?
Yeah, it was
And
awesome.
then
It worked.
yeah, it worked. But then I text Keith, who's awesome to get back. He's like, I've been putting the old no talk zone by Matthew.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah,
man.
yeah, that works. Like, yeah, that happens.
Yeah. You know what though? It's different when you're Matthew Kachuk on your team and you're the best player and you're the heart and
Yes,
soul of the team and
yes,
your dad says it
yeah,
versus when you're the brand new guy in
yeah,
town and you play on the third
100%,
line
100%.
and you're
Yeah,
scrapping for
yeah,
13 a
yeah,
night. Anyway,
100%.
all right, let's keep this thing moving.
Yeah,
The other big positive for me tonight is I think the Leafs have their second line.
yeah, you liked it tonight, eh?
I really did. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. Tavares now has what 10 points, 6 games.
He's on
His
fire.
season his season's a little underappreciated, underrated. I think obviously, like, listen, he's obviously not playing as well as Matthews and Nylander have been. I'm not going to try to make that case, but everybody likes pointing to this guy that he's washed, he's done, he's finished. Oh, the contract, all this and that.
Yeah.
How many guys have 10 points in 6 games, right?
No,
Like,
it's just like he's going to be 82 or 83 or 81 points in 82 games like he always is. And it's just, yeah,
and
I
dude, this one, this
oh, it's
this is just
elite.
so beautiful, Tavares. Where and it's like, by the way, this is everybody involved in that goal, right? The second
Mhm.
goal of the game. Look at Tavares. Look how patient he is in
Oh,
front of the net. He just gets his position established. He sticks that big butt out. He gets his hands in the right spot.
oh,
Boom, beautiful tip,
made that look easy.
gorgeous tip, all world tip. Nice feed too from Riley. Nice
Mhm.
little just give and go from everybody involved here. Anyway,
Oh,
look at it. Like Nylander just creates so much. I really wish Bertuzzi would have finished that one. Didn't look like he got that clean. Does the look up to the sky? Wish he
yeah.
would have had a better opportunity on it. But I don't know. I just felt like out of all the Leafs lines 5-on-5 tonight, they were easily the most dangerous.
I think maybe it looks like Bertuzzi may fit there the best so far of all the places
Yeah.
they've put him. Uh, I like whatever line 88's on right now. I'll tell you
I,
that much.
yeah, I
Like
didn't like
he,
that shot.
he's making it happen.
Yeah.
The amount of confidence and freedom that William Nylander is playing with right now is otherworldly. He
Mhm.
is truly taken it. Even last year, we talked about him taking it to another level with the consistency and how he looked, and he looked bigger and faster last year. It's even gone to another level, man. He
Dude,
looks,
he's a beast.
he is so good. He's going to be talked about in the conversation for a top 20 kind of player in the league, top 20, top 15.
Sure he is.
He's gonna go up a level here, and it's awesome to watch him play right now. That goal that he scored up the Matthews pass,
Mhm.
where a guy's leaning on him, he goes down to one shoulder, has enough strength to get it up into the top of the net. He's skating well. I mean, he's never gonna be a stalwart defender in his own zone, and we've just all
I
come
thought he had some like truly brutal moments
yeah,
defensively
and he
tonight.
does, and he
I'm just
has
gonna
all year.
mention it.
He
Yeah,
has all
yeah,
year, but I just don't care anymore. Like I
yeah.
truly, for what he brings off, the reason you used to hate it before is because you only got flashes of this.
Mhm.
But now that he does this every single game, where he's the most dangerous guy on the ice borderline on a team that has elite guys, you just
Mhm.
don't worry about the defensive stuff. You know,
I'm totally with you.
it's just it is what it is. He's an elite scoring winger who's amongst the best at his position in the league, and he's just not going to give you a ton defensively. You just got to live with it. That's the way it
Yeah.
is. He's
No.
unbelievable.
It's just like the finishing has gone through the roof.
Yeah.
And early on in his career, the shooting percentage was a bit of an issue, and we used to have debates and discussions about it. I remember Bourne writing a big piece on that we went over about like, hey, is this about where he's getting to? Is this about him being a perimeter guy? What's up with the shooting percentage? And now just like his finishing has drastically improved from where he was. And
Yeah.
I got to say, I think that this is a mea culpa for us all, and I was reminded of it tonight as they played the Washington Capitals.
Mm.
It's a very discussion amongst Leaf fans was, would you trade William Nylander for Tom Wilson? And I gotta say, hand up, I had definitely had moments where I said I would. And how many times you
Worst
roast
trade of
Tom
all
Wilson?
time.
And
That would have been the worst trade of
yeah,
all time. Truly.
it would have. I cannot. You know what? All of us that try to play armchair GM sometimes,
Shut up.
maybe it's just
Shut up, time.
yeah. It was this is a good humble reminder for you and I to shut up because you and I were both on that
Yeah,
train. And
absolutely.
tonight, how many times did you notice Tom Wilson?
Yeah, I didn't notice a lot of guys in the Caps. Like they had that
I
good
noticed him
first period.
talking a couple of times.
Yeah, they juiced the shot counter up on the first couple power plays in that
Hmm.
game, and Wall was good. But man,
Hmm.
they are on the downward swing. They haven't led yet this year.
Hmm.
They
Yeah,
won a they
no,
won a
that's
game where
why.
they won a game where they didn't lead against the Flames. They wanted a shootout, but they haven't led yet. It's
Yeah,
it's
that's why I was pissed off when the Leafs gave up the first goal, and I thought that they weren't going to challenge that goaltender
yeah,
interference. I
I
was
know.
apoplectic. I went,
I
"What are
know.
we doing here? You dove into the net. You're going to give them their first lead of the season."
Auto challenge. Like
Yeah,
immediate challenge. Like I was
took the
stunned it took
time
that
out.
long. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
weird.
it was a very, very weird one. By the way, this is a good time since you talked about the shot counter juicing.
Mm.
Ovechkin with 14 shots tonight, and this is going to be his career from here on out. Like
Yep.
he's never going to be competitive again.
Nope.
These guys are never going to win anything while he's around, and the Caps are never going to let him go anywhere else because they want him to break the record. So congratulations to Washington. Like you're the stat chaser team
Yeah.
for the next 3 seasons because I don't think he's going to break it next year. I really don't. I think it's at best the following season when he's like 41 years old and he's just standing there and it's
Mhm.
just like what it was tonight, which is yeah. I know that some of you are watching this, you're thinking, well, if Ovechkin has a clean look, like why not take it? This was just I thought pretty shameless stuff tonight for the most part. Like
Yeah.
the entire team feels like it has to funnel towards him. He shoots every single thing, every single puck at the net. Like, yeah, you got this opportunity. That was pretty nice. He's cherry picking. I know you noticed that he
Shocker.
back checked once, but yeah, it
Yeah.
was just I don't know. I got a lot of respect for Ovechkin, the player, like the durability, the career, all this different stuff. But I don't
Mm.
know. Nothing about this chase is really going to excite me. I got to tell you, this just feels
No.
like when a guy's going for a triple double at the end of a basketball game, throwing the ball
Ricky
off the backboard,
Davis.
trying to get a rebound. Yeah,
He's
the
Ricky
Ricky Davis.
Davis. I to
I'm
me,
rooting against it. I just want to put it
of
out there too.
course.
I'm fully
Of
admitting I'm a hater of
course.
this. I don't want Ovechkin to break the record. I want
Of
it to remain
course.
Gretzky's. Like every time when he scored tonight, I sent a big capital 4 letter word
I
to the
know.
group chat. Like I, it's just I don't want to see it. I hate it. It's against the spirit of the game. What's
I
happening here?
have nothing else to add. I
Yeah,
completely agree with everything you just
yeah,
said. I want the all-time goal scoring record to belong to a Canadian. There it is.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
way I want it to be forever.
yeah.
That's it.
Sure.
End
Anyway,
of story.
moving on. Yeah.
Yep.
Congrats to the Capitals on your next 3 seasons
Yeah,
of
that's your destiny.
whatever it is
You're
that you are.
the Washington record chasers. That's your new team.
You beat the expansion team in the finals
No.
this year. Way to go! You did it. You did it. Oh yeah, for
Oh,
sure. Yeah, just saying
they
it.
did beat Sid on the way. They did
Yeah,
beat Sid on the way to
yeah,
that cup,
yeah.
unfortunately.
I know. That's the worst part about it is he
Yeah,
beats it on
yeah,
the way in.
yeah.
Okay, so Morgan Riley. I gotta tell you when we're talking about a little bit flying under the radar guys because so Nylander is clearly the dude who Matthews looks healthy and he
Yep,
looks back to dominant
yep.
Matthews and he's playing a 200-foot game and he's turning pucks over and he looks awesome. William Nylander is the story of the season in terms of just the way that he's playing and how
Mhm,
great a shape he looks like he's in. Riley gets his first goal. It's obviously a bit of a softie. It's a nice little pass in tight by Max Domi to set it up, and then some good patience by Liljegren. But
yep.
I really like the way that Riley's playing right now. He's playing with a ton of confidence. He's eating up a ton of ice time. Feel like we haven't talked about him a lot. And yeah, he was really solid again tonight. I thought he was easily the Leafs' best defenseman.
Yep, he's been the least best defenseman most nights. Playoff Morgan has carried over to the start of this regular season. He's been awesome. He's just picking his spots. Like we've talked about this a million times in this show. But when he's at
Mm-hmm.
his best, it's picking his spots in the right time to jump up. He's using his speed. He's been a little bit more physical this year. I've noticed. I love everything about his game. And he's the type of guy that could be the captain of this team. He is heart and soul Leafs. Signed the long-term contract, which looks like an absolute steal at this point. And we all
Mm-hmm.
talked about it last year when he signed it, like it was maybe not a steal, which in retrospect are probably not the best conversations that we've had on the radio. But uh, he's been awesome. Full credit. He's been really, really good. And
And
Brody returning to look like an NHLer has been nice. If he's
yeah,
back to looking like himself, he had a shaky
100%.
start where it was like, oh boy, if he's not good, it's not good. But yeah, he was good tonight.
Any other big picture topics, or are we good for rapid fire?
I'm trying to think of something. I had something get going. I had something written down, but I forgot.
I got some rapid fire
Okay,
topics.
go ahead.
Number
Go ahead.
one, it's nice having a lead in the third period because it allows you to give the fourth line some fake shifts and
Yep.
dial back on the minutes for the big guys. Like, congrats to all the fourth line. Pontus Holmberg, 12 minutes. Noah Gregor, 12 minutes. Ryan Reeves, 11 minutes. Like, they did it. You
Yeah.
guys got there because they threw him over the boards to close the game in the offensive zone a bunch of times. They didn't really do much with it, right? Like, I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe Pontus Holmberg had a chance at one point in this game. He took a penalty. That wasn't great. Really don't want
Mhm.
to see that from the
I'm
fourth
just
line
looking
as
at the I'm
always.
just looking at the ice times here. Nice to
Yeah.
see the big boys under 20. I will
Yes.
say that's what I wanted to bring up because I was
Yeah.
texting about it earlier. They are
24 a night for the big two.
they're getting a they're getting a lot of shifts, but boy, they're not afraid to stay out there for a long time. Like it feels to
They
me, and
got
I was
stuck once tonight.
no, but even for the rest of the season, it just feels like their shift length has been really long. And I
Yeah.
got Jobo to look it up for me, and they're 10th and 11th in the league in shift length at 58 seconds, tied for 10th and 11th or whatever. But like to me, if you want to limit the ice time, maybe just shorten up those shifts by a couple breaths. I don't know. It just seems like they're out there for a really long time, a lot. So I know I also noticed on that list that Connor Bedard was number 2 in shift length. Don't tell Kipper that. He
Who
won't
should they come on the ice for?
Pardon? Well, if you listen to our show, Kipper doesn't love the length of shifts and doesn't love a lot of things about that. But anyways, I just think they're taking long ones. They're taking the Mario Lemieux-esque shifts out there, and they're really good, and I understand it. But he's throwing them over the boards, and they're staying out there for a while. So it's something I noticed and something I want to look up and kind of validated to my eye that they are taking longer shifts than normal.
I get it. There was definitely a couple that I noticed in this game. There was one with Matthews specifically in the second
Mm,
period where he basically stayed out for an entire line change and
Yeah.
was just going in on forecheck and just wouldn't come off the ice until it was Kemper that killed the play, stopped
Mhm.
drew a whistle. But when you're that good of a line and you have that much puck possession, it's hard for me to be overly critical because I think what are you supposed to do, right? Like you're at the 45-second mark and you're supposed to skate off when you're set up in the O zone. Like those guys dominate offensive zone possession time so far this year. So I hear it. I've seen moments where I go, man, this is getting really long, and it
Yeah.
stinks when they get hemmed in their own M because they've already had a really long shift and then they look tired, and that's usually when they just they don't look very good. It's a threatening moment for the Leafs when those
Yeah.
guys are at the end of long shifts and it's in their zone.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I need to see more time. To me, this is more a situation where Keefe's got to just take some of the ice time away, and the Leafs themselves have to put themselves in better positions where they get leads early and don't dog it to start games like they did again tonight,
Yeah.
so that they're actually in a spot where they can give those other guys ice and not have every single person watching it fear for their lives like I do whenever the fourth line's on the ice in a tight or tied game,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Uh,
Just like quick one for me too. Just like that, the bottom six looks like a NHL bottom six again. Like after you take out the kid that was playing third line center.
I think the third line looked like a third line. I
Yeah.
don't have any faith in this fourth line. Like I don't know what to tell you. It's not going to work, and I just do not see a world where Ryan Reeves is playing games for the Leafs come playoff time. Like there's
Well,
just
yeah,
not
that's for sure.
like
But
it's
like he's
not going
gonna
to
he's gonna
happen
be playing. He's playing.
in the playoffs.
No, I don't think so. They'll
I'll
make
take that bet.
trades.
Oh
They'll make trades and stuff like that. He'll be kind of bumped into the lineup. He's not gonna be a full time player by the time the
yeah,
playoffs roll around. But he's
I
playing
think
every
he's
night.
already unplayable. I think he's already an unplayable guy. It just you look at every single stat too of him on the ice so far, and it's we can play the small sample game, but you just watch it and it's like he's just so
Well,
stiff. And
I don't think it's gonna get any better. But I actually like Holmberg and I like Gregor. So
mm,
I think
I
both
think
those guys
Gregor's
are.
got good speed.
Yeah.
I haven't seen really anything from Holmberg. He took a penalty tonight. That's the most notable play for him. I can't really say that I've been in love with the
Well,
performance so far. But
He
again,
played 5 minutes the game before,
that's
and
I
then
mean,
he was out there for 12 tonight. But I just like him in general as a player, and I think he's
yeah,
like an NHL fourth line guy. So
hope so.
I think they're just gonna be playing Reeves a lot. So you're gonna hold your what for 5 to 10 minutes a night, and that's what you're gonna get with him on the ice. It just
Last thing for me
yeah.
was this is finally when the league decided to stagger games. Good for them. They do
Mm.
it against baseball playoffs and the opening night of the NBA, which is some curious timing. Like,
Yeah. I
it's
I
just
agree.
weird that this is the time they decided to break this out was not last week. I think that they should stagger more games. They should absolutely be trying to get Connor McDavid, especially into Eastern time zone, so that we can actually watch him play it, not 10 o'clock at night. I know that bothers Edmonton fans, but the rest of the world wants to see McDavid. He's the best player on the planet. They should figure this out better.
Yeah.
But I had my conspiracy hat on with those first two power plays of the game because they were both really soft hooks. Like the Camp one was soft, and I thought
What are
they're
you,
breaking out
gunning? Like,
NHL red zone.
what is this take? Going gunning over here? Oh my
No,
god.
they
What
broke
is
out
this?
NHL red zone, and the refs got the signal. They were like, "We need NHL red
Oh
zone to have
my
power plays tonight,
god.
boys." Soft hooks are getting called, and they did. The one on Nylander was terrible. The one on Camp was terrible.
They were both on the soft side. No
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
No
And
question.
I like just saying. I know this can is aluminum, but like I had the tinfoil hat going on those two. I went, oh yeah.
Okay there, bubbly. Relax, pal.
All right. I'm just saying. I was on alert. Anyway, that's the end of conspiracy time.
right.
Subscribe to this podcast, leave 5 stars. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkus, at Sam A. McKee. And yeah, watch our other shows, Real Kipper and Born and the JD Bunkus podcast, which they're back on tomorrow. I've got Myrtle and Murphy for Leafs and Raptors season preview.
Oh, Raps
You know
start
what you got?
tomorrow.
Raps start tomorrow, baby.
Yeah. Got Darren
We're here.
McCarty. I think we got Darren McCarty tomorrow. Talk some Red Hot Red Wings in the National Hour.
Oh yeah,
And
you
maybe,
love the Red Wings.
yeah, and McCarty's a sick guest, so
Yeah,
he's
he
a
is.
funny
He's a good
guy.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yep.
All right. We will see you Thursday night after the Stars game. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you then.